Hey guys, Wels Knight here, and welcome to Monster Hunter World. I'm so excited. I have been waiting for this game to come out on PC for a while. For a very long time, and I'm very excited to be playing it. Basically, this is a brand new save file. I did put out an episode 0 in which I did basically all the initial cutscenes and tutorials and stuff like that. So if you're interested in seeing that, I'll put a link in the description. Otherwise, this is going to be the first episode where we do actual stuff that's relevant and fun and and all that kind of stuff. So let's get into it. Let me just double check one thing because I was recording a bunch of stuff. Okay, we're good. Sweet. So we're going to be starting our next quest. I'm playing as a switch axe main at the moment. And a lot of the stuff, if you're new to Monster Hunter or if you're new to Monster Hunter World, there's going to be a lot of terminology that I may use. I will try my best to explain it as we go. Switch axe is the weapon that I'm currently using. It's like, it has the ability to switch back and forth between an axe and a sword, and it's pretty sweet. I am fairly familiar with Monster Hunter World. I did own it on PC, and I played several hundred hours of it. I was primarily a bow main. I also am relatively proficient with sword and shield and greatsword. Those are like my three that I'm relatively good with, and everything else is a learning process. And over the course of this series, I plan to kind of bounce around and use a lot of different weapons, but for the moment I want to kind of focus on switch axe because it's a fun weapon. It's fairly flashy, but it also does, good damage and gets the job done. If you're new to Monster Hunter, every weapon, there is no, best weapon in Monster Hunter. That's one thing that makes it kind of different from other games. There is no, there's no strongest anything. It's just, everything is very, very well balanced. So every weapon is viable. There's several different weapons that are good for beginners. It's really just a matter of personal preference. So anyway, let's put this away. We should probably grab free stuff. I'll take all this. If nothing else, we can always sell it later. And then let's head off and do some questing. There's a lot of things you can do in this game as far as gathering stuff, and there's a lot of side quests and all sorts of stuff. I don't know how much of how much I'm going to edit. Feedback would be appreciated. This guy wants us to go hunt Kestodon. They're the ones that have very hard heads. These ones. Be careful. These are the Kestodons. And they're not very dangerous. These are they're considered small monsters. You're in my way, thing. Let's just see if we can clear these guys out. Ow. He whacked me. That's all right. Okay. There we go. How many of these we got left? A couple? Get rid of those. I think that's all 3. I think there was only 3. And now we can carve them up and get some resources, some materials which we will use to craft armor and weapons. And that's kind of like the basic gameplay loop of Monster Hunter is hunt monsters, get their materials, use them to make armor and weapons, and on and on. And so rinse, repeat. This is one of those games that it's a lot more fun and a lot more addictive than it sounds on paper. The first time I heard about Monster Hunter, I was like, that sounds really dull. What else is there to do? But the hunts are just very, very satisfying. And there's a lot of little side objectives and stuff too. You can, for example, collect all the different indigenous critters. There, we got a sushi fish and a pink paraxis. There's a lot of little stuff like that. But early in the game, what we really need to do is gather as many herbs and bugs and stuff like that as we can to kind of build up our stockpiles. So you're going to see me kind of running around and grabbing literally everything that I can get my hands on at this point. Also, I would really like one of these guys. There we go. Upless Bill. Pretty cool. So then down here we have more Kestodon. Before I go over there, I want to grab this. And once we fight these guys, then we will encounter our first large monster. And the large monsters are the monsters that actually, like, matter. They're the ones that make up the core of the game. So, let's swing down here. Hi. Let's use our sword this time. And there's some pretty cool stuff. I'd like to switch back, thank you. I will say I'm not great with switch axe. I'm still learning it. That's kind of the whole thing here, is that I'm trying to learn new weapons. So forgive me if you play Monster Hunter and you're amazing with whatever weapon I'm currently butchering and making poor use of. I apologize in advance. There's a handful of weapons that I'm okay with. I would not consider myself like a great Monster Hunter player. I'm competent. I've beaten the game. I've killed every monster there that exists in the PS4 version. But at the same time, like, I'm not a speedrunner or anything like that. Let's put it that way. What do we got left? Just this one. There we go. That's the end of you. All right, now let's carve these guys up.
I think I found something.
And when you use a melee weapon in this game, you do have to sharpen and keep it sharp. There's a bar in the upper left that shows you your sharpness level. Essentially, you want to keep that as high as possible. So whenever you get like a little break in the action, it's always good to sharpen up. I'm not going to go into like super crazy detail with stuff, but I'll just kind of explain things as we go. And hopefully, for those of you who have not played Monster Hunter before, I'll be able to kind of explain at least the basics for you. There are several YouTube channels out there that are fantastic when it comes to tutorials and stuff like that. So that's where I'd recommend going if you want to learn, if you want to get the game for yourself and like learn the weapons and all that kind of stuff. It's a giant iguana. A giant, very fat iguana.
Now.
All right, so we got to go take down that great Jagras.
All right, partner.
And I'm going to do it right now. I could go back to camp, go back to our headquarters first, but I just don't really think it's necessary. Great Jagras is kind of a pushover as enemies go. He's a little more annoying early in the game when you have just garbage for weapons and stuff. All of our gear right now is pretty terrible, but...
And you're going to need friends when you go up against some of the tougher monsters. In order for the scout flies
which way did we go? This way?
Monster, we need to keep finding traces of it. Like footprints, for example.
Yeah, I think this is the way he's going. So we're gathering these footprints. These are essentially going to allow us to find the monster more easily. It's quite useful. All these, like, footprints and skid marks and stuff like that. Eventually, it will tell us where the monster is. And it will also help research the monster so you can learn, like, what elements they're weak to and all sorts of stuff like that. This is very much a game about preparation. Like, part of the joy of this game is building different sets of equipment to kind of prepare you for whatever fight you have coming up. So, for example, say you're up against a fire monster, you build a set specifically that's very resistant to fire damage or whatever. And that's kind of part of the fun of this is figuring out ways to kind of prepare as best you can to make monsters as easy as possible through the use of, you know, whatever gear and stuff you have equipped. There is no, like, levels in this game. You don't gain experience and upgrade your stats. Everything's just done through whatever gear you have equipped as far as making you stronger. So, and your skill level, of course. The better you get at the game, the easier it becomes, obviously. But if you are at the very end of the game, you could throw on, like, beginner armor and weapons and have the same actual stats that you have at the very beginning of the game. So it's kind of cool. I want to grab that. We'll fight this dude in a minute.
Great for getting a monster's attention.
I want to grab these these bones quick, and then we'll drop this thing on him if I can. There we go.
If you're clever, you can use the slinger to distract.
That ought to get him. Yep.
Switch axe has two forms, axe and sword. Power up the sword attacks by injecting them with fire.
And basically, since we dropped a rock on him, now we can just wail on him for a while. Oh, I didn't even realize that I was in combat. That's kind of hilarious, actually.
Dodge their attacks. You don't want to take hits like that head on.
So basically, the secret to Switch Axe is getting used to switching back and forth between sword and shield mode, or between shield and axe mode, I should say. There's a bar in the upper left that kind of represents my shield, and you build up energy by attacking in axe mode, and then you release that energy in shield or in sword mode, and your attacks in sword mode do a lot more damage. So that's kind of the idea. Ah, he got me first. That's all right. Okay, if you can stop hitting me, please. I would appreciate that. Switch. There we go. And now our sharpness is low. But this Jagras is almost dead. Ah. All right, that's fine. Let's drink a potion real quick. I mean, he's already leaving, but just to be on the safe side. This is one of those monsters that's kind of like this is as easy as it gets. And everything from here on out will get harder. We should probably sharpen. Eventually, we will want to capture monsters, but we don't actually have that capability right now because we need to make traps and stuff first, and we don't have the necessary resources to make all the traps. So, for the time being, where's this dude at? Oh, there's a little Jagras. Jagras. Yeah, come here. You gotta be careful using that attack. It hits fast, and it hits relatively hard, but it does eat up your stamina. But if I can get rid of a couple of these guys, and we should be in good shape. There we go. Let's gather up some resources. And then we'll go finish off that great Jagras. I think he might be sleeping right now. When enemies get low enough on health, they go back to sleep. The enemies in this game do not have health bars, which takes a little getting used to if you're not accustomed to that. But they give visual cues of how hurt they are. So they'll start limping, or they'll drop like piercing pods, or there's a bunch of different ways that they kind of still indicate how low on health they are, and you can take advantage of it. Yeah, he's very much asleep. That's okay. Ah, he moved. Oh, here we go. Boom! Big flashy attack. And there we go. There's our first large monster slayed. Slain? Slain. There we go. So now we get to carve him up for his resources, and we get about 60 seconds after we slay him to carve him up and then run around and gather whatever we possibly can get in that time frame. Then, unfortunately, there's no way to just skip the timer. Also, I should probably say, this is a multiplayer game. You can play basically the entire thing. I don't think there's almost nothing in the game that requires you to play multiplayer. Like, you can play through all the main stuff single player. There's a couple of like event quests that are really meant to be multiplayer, but beyond that, the whole game is doable on single player, and basically everything scales if you're on multiplayer. So the difficulty, the enemies just get more health and stuff like that. But a couple of my friends have gotten this game. Python GB, good buddy of mine. My old friend Raiden, who most of you probably have never heard of, since he has not really done anything with me in, I don't know, a very long time. But a bunch of my friends have this game for PC, or are in the process of getting it. So probably going to be some multiplayer stuff going on throughout the course of this series as well. We'll probably do some stuff with them.
I think we got a lead.
I gotta turn subtitles back on. I just realized.
Maybe. Let's check it out.
What are we looking for?
Hey.
That's just gross.
Well, you were right. There's our mark. Something's got him agitated. Look over there.
The Poisonous Bouquet.
What in the heck is that? I've never seen anything like it.
You think it's from Zora Magdaros?
I'd like to find out. But we better report back first. All right?
All right. For those of you who did not watch episode 0, Zora Magdaros is a really big volcano dragon thing. And we'll run into him a couple times throughout the main story. There we go. Stuff has leveled up. Blah, blah, blah. We're good to go. Okay. So now, I don't know if there's really going to be anything that we can actually create, but we'll see. Okay, Bouquet territory. Pretty deep in the forest. Once our team from the resource center is done rebuilding,
Want to get going?
field team leader. Okay, so we need to help them do different things.
The camp is set up.
We need to go set up a camp is our next, main objective.
Wonder where the resource center is.
A lot of help you are, handler. Good thing I know where the resource center is, because you're useless.
Oh, you are too good to me.
There we go. We need to go to the ancient forest and make a camp. We can do that. Especially since I know exactly where the camp is. Let's also register some bounties. These are essentially like little side missions that you complete by doing stuff as you do other things. So we get all this different stuff. We definitely want that. Large monster capture. I'll take it. I don't know if they're going to be able to do anything with it at the moment, but we'll get there.
Okay.
Let's also talk with this guy. Slay or capture. They want us to capture stuff. Capturing is better, but you need the traps to do it. That's the downside to it. Eventually, we will have essentially an infinite supply of every resource imaginable, but we're not there yet. Let's see. I want to buy... Man, I don't even really want to buy the trap tools yet.
Or you can use the world map.
We're just so low on everything. So, let's pop up to the workshop. And let's see if we can make any new gear with the materials that we just got. Let's see. So, I'd love to make the bone armor if I can. The full set of bone armor is actually pretty good. I will take the bone helmet. Let's go ahead and make that. And it will play this cutscene every time you make armor, but you do have the ability to skip it. So, there you go. There's the creating armor cutscene. I will equip that. And then... I'd actually like this. We'll equip that because Fortify is a very useful skill. Every time you die, you get a little stronger. Can make a big difference in challenging missions. And then we'll get that, and I guess we'll get this as well. There we go. Now we're all decked out like some sort of crazy tribal warrior or something. I don't know, but I'll take it. Now, let's look at upgrades. Can we upgrade our axe at all? I mean, there is the Great Jagger's Axe, which is better than what we got, but we don't have the resources for it. I think for the moment, we're probably fine. So, now we are going to go eat, and then we will head out. That's my plan. Okay, with money, we'll go with a meat platter for the moment. Oh, I meant to actually watch that. Sorry. My apologies. That's all right. We'll watch it next time. We'll have plenty of opportunities. And then we're supposed to go on an expedition to the ancient forest.
If you want to go on an expedition, open your world map and choose your destination. For this expedition, we need to head to the ancient forest. We can expand expeditions as we delve further into the new world. Pretty good incentive to explore, right?
There we go. We'll pop over here. I will say, as someone who's played on the PC version now and the PS4 version previously, and I have a PS4 Pro, the load times are way better on my computer. I am running on an SSD, so that's not exactly unexpected, but it's nice. Like, it feels so much less miserable. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. What are you going to say?
Let's look for the campsite.
We got to go find the campsite. Okay, we can do that.
If I get to the campsite
Yes,
first,
exit
or get
tutorial.
lost, open up your map or use your scout flies to track me.
See, here's the thing, guy. I know where I'm
Whenever
going,
you leave
so...
the base without signing up for a quest, you'll go on an expedition. There's no time limit or cap on how many times you're allowed to faint, which means you can explore to your heart's content.
And we'll grab any footprints or anything like that. Expeditions are basically only for exploring and resource gathering. You can hunt monsters on expeditions, but you lose out on all the extra rewards.
Now this is interesting.
So,
Let's report
it's
our
not
findings to
ideal.
everyone at the resource center when we get back.
Expeditions are the worst option for actually hunting monsters. So we're going to avoid doing that, if we can. Let's talk with this dude.
Howdy.
The Piscine researcher. He's basically the fish scientist. Let's see here. I think what we will try to do... Let's be all sneaky. I don't know if I got anything. I did not. All right. Well, we'll have to try again in the future. That's fine. Not a big deal. They do have useful things. Wait a minute. Are we supposed to talk with him again?
I just love me some good fish.
Yeah, there we go. He'll give us a quest. And completing those little side quests like that will give you different unlocks, food ingredients, campsites, all sorts of different things. Those little, like, optional bounties or whatever. But I didn't think I was going to get him. That's okay. But in the meantime, let's head to this campsite. Oh, and there's some doodles over there, too. We'll grab those. Those are going to be useful later as well. For now, we'll just grab... I mean, early game, you basically just want to, like, pick up anything that your scout flies highlight. Any sort of footprints or doodles or whatever. Later on in the game, you'll end up skipping a lot of it.
You can assign a target destination for your scout flies on the map.
There we go. This is not the right direction. Where am I going? That's just incorrect. We need to go north. Here we go. Anything else useful along the way? I see a mushroom. I mean, ultimately, I think... Yeah, this is the right way. that. Grab... Oh, there was footprints. Oh, yeah, I see them. Grab any of these we can find. You'll encounter whatever monsters. Basically, there'll be like 3 monsters on the map at any given time. And sometimes it's random, like on expeditions. Sometimes it's predetermined for like a quest. Like, it all just depends. And some monsters are significantly more dangerous than others. Hello. You want me to capture things.
Ooh, yeah.
I will say, the text, the story in this game is like, it's not winning any awards. And this will now be the 3rd or 4th time I've played through the entirety of it. So, yeah. If you, and all the cutscenes and stuff are not skippable. Like, you can skip the little ones, like, the food and the crafting armor and that kind of stuff, but you can't skip most of it. All the story stuff you can't skip. What we're looking for, though... Oh, actually, talk with you again real quick. Yes, I want to capture a woodland pteryx, which is one of those guys. Hey, come here, you. That's easier said than done. There we go. Got him. Cool. So that has now done a thing. Unlocked something or other.
Over here.
Grab those footprints. Grab that. And now we head up. Kind of a goofy bird, but that's okay.
Well, if we don't take care of that pest, the camp won't last a night.
Oh, yeah.
So there we go. We found a Kuluyaku. We could go hunt him right now, but I think I want to head back. Instead, we'll head back to Astera.
Return to base.
And we'll do it as an actual assignment instead of an expedition, because then we get a little bit more quest rewards, I think. I'm not 100% sure. It's kind of weird the way that that those work for story quests. But the big thing is, I do know that I am pretty much out of time for this first episode, so I'm going to call this one here. We hunted the Great Jagras. We found the campsite. We'll be continuing on tomorrow with more Monster Hunter World. Guys, if you enjoyed the video, you know what to do. Links in the description below, so check those out as well. Otherwise, my friends, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.